In Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, we have seen the iconic beginning to the adventures we embark on, the mysterious Dive to Heart. The Dive to Heart acted as both the introduction to various Kingdom Hearts games, and also somewhat of a tutorial of what's to come. So far, we have seen Sora's, Roxas's, and Ventus's Dive to Heart, but in Kingdom Hearts 3, will the Dive to Heart return? And if so, who will be the one to experience the deep dive? I believe that it will be young Xehanort, the youthful version of the series antagonist, Master Xehanort. Now, why do I think this? Well, for a multitude of reasons. The first is that besides Sora and those closely tied to him like Ventus and Roxas, the Kingdom Hearts series has always been about Xehanort and his plights. So though he is viewed as an antagonist, he can also be seen as a pseudo-deuteragonist. This focus can finally come to a head, and we can peek into the beginnings of the Dark Master and his Dive to Heart to see how he viewed being a Keyblade wielder from the beginning and have a sense of what makes this man tick. Secondly, is that Tatsuya Nomura confirmed that he's playing around with the possibility of multiple playable characters. Though many have stated they will want the other trios or the Guardians of Light playable, including myself, I've had a change of heart when realistically looking at the new Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer from E3 2015. I think I would rather have the game regulated to 2 playable characters only, Sora and young Xehanort, which I'm going to expand on later. Third is that Nomura and Yusui have both confirmed that this conversation between young Xehanort and young Ericus, which was first revealed in 2014 and finally expanded on in this latest trailer, is the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3. This is how the game is going to start out when you boot up a new file. With that in mind, it isn't too far-fetched to think that after this conversation, or maybe even right before, we experience young Xehanort's Dive to Heart to coincide with the conversation, and maybe give a sense of reasoning behind the conversation and young Xehanort's fascination with the Keyblade War. Now let's get into the details of the core of this theory. Young Xehanort playable in Kingdom Hearts 3. Not only in the Dive to Heart sequence, because it wouldn't really make sense to have a character and a kit for the sole purpose of an intro tutorial. Kingdom Hearts 2 with Roxas? Yeah. Rather, I feel that young Xehanort should be fully playable with his own story, mechanics, keyblades, and pacing. I'm betting the first thing you're thinking is time travel, right? Well, not exactly or entirely. Remember what I said about the story of Kingdom Hearts has always been about these two, Sora and Xehanort? The chess pieces, people. So I feel that the Xehanort saga should end with a game that chronicles both their exploits and tells both of their stories as a way to answer all of these questions that we have. Similar to how Dream Drop Distance and Re-Channel Memories worked with the 2 main playable characters, Riku and Sora. Kingdom Hearts 3 should include a Rise of the Dark Seeker storyline that chronicles young Xehanort leaving the Destiny Islands, becoming a Keyblade wielder, learning of the Keyblade War, traveling and becoming a master, leading to his plot of recreating the Keyblade. With a storyline like this, it's possible to answer questions and gain great insight to Xehanort and the Kingdom Hearts series in general. Picture this, 2 playable stories in Kingdom Hearts 3, Sora's story and Xehanort's story. Playing through Sora's story will have you go through the adventure a lot like how Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 worked, but ending off before the final encounter with Xehanort and the Keyblade War. And there's also an option to play as Xehanort's story. Xehanort's Dive to Heart will still be constant before these choices. And playing through Xehanort's story places you in the role of young Xehanort, and you go through the various worlds of Kingdom Hearts 3 but in the radical past, and learn many things about those worlds and learn more about Xehanort's understanding of the light and dark and his conquest for knowledge and balance. It's only after you complete these 2 storylines that you can continue Sora's storyline and beat the game, similar to how you had to complete both storylines in Dream Drop Distance before you can continue Riku's at the end of the game. At the same time, the concept of questions of both the future and the past that can be answered with the events in the polarizing time zones that Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key has been focusing on could be revisited in this as well, as elements from Sora's storyline could have questions that could be answered by playing Xehanort's storyline and vice versa. All of this, while other lingering questions from the entire Kingdom Hearts story can be answered by using these 2 storylines as a catalyst. It all boils down to the concept of balance and representation of light and darkness that Xehanort seeks and that can truly be personified with this concept. Imagine various enemies and boss fights that we can encounter in the different storylines and the differentiating views that each character can have in different and similar scenarios. We may even be able to find some humanity and goodness in Xehanort. Not to say his deeds aren't atrocious, but to give his character and his plight some form of validity. At the same time, we could explore the relationships that he's had with various other characters, such as Ericus, their master, other potential Keyblade wielders, Yensid, etc, etc. Since this is the end of the Xehanort saga, I feel that his story should be explored. Xehanort's tale is still one shrouded in mystery, and we need to see his side of the understanding. At the same time, it seems that young Xehanort is becoming more and more of a focus in recent games. we've had a dual setting of playable characters, especially from the view of light and dark in the form of playing as Riku in Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories and Dream Drop Distance. And for this grand finale, it needs to be Sora and Xehanort playable this time around. I hope you enjoyed this video, and what do you think about the prospect of Xehanort being playable going through his story as a youth in Kingdom Hearts 3? I hope this made you think. If so, leave your comments in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, favorite, share, and most importantly, subscribe to HMK for more insightful Kingdom Hearts videos. And until the next Kingdom Hearts 3 video, I've been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.